Okay, today, after doing the Mars scar and showing how an X-flare is made, what I'm going to do today is basically tell you where in the sun filaments come from, halos and X-flares. Now on the screen, what you can see, this is how smoke rises. Now it's nothing to do with smoke, this is how energy rises, because energy moves matter. Matter cannot move itself, it needs energy. And so, as you can see in the picture, the very first pulse that comes out of a cigarette is a double helix, and it travels anti-clockwise up the left hand side, it rolls over, and then it comes down the right hand side clockwise. Now what happens is the first wave starts to roll over. This is a filament. This is just a short pulse of energy, and it gives filaments. As we go up the screen, what happens in smoke is that the rollover wave, as it gains energy, rolls round into a halo. This is what happens when the sun blows out a halo, because energy rotates, and it always tries to rotate into a circle or a sphere. So that is where the halos come from. And then above that, the last part at the top there, once the halo is formed in smoke, if you get 5 or 6 halos together, a V of matter zooms up exactly where the halo ends meet. So basically that's saying that the rollover wave at the bottom is a filament. The second one becomes a halo, and an X-flare is several halo energy waves that bunch together, and then a V, well, an inverted V, shoots straight upwards and through the center of the X-flare. Now, the reason that the X-flare lights up in the middle and then spreads to the side is that as this energy races upwards, once it exits the matter, it turns back into signal, which is why you don't see it appear unless it's an extremely violent CME, and then you see double helixes come out of the sun. This has been observed in suspicious observers, and they've even commented on it that a helix blew out of the sun, so you can go check that if you want. But as this inverted V comes into contact with the outer limits of the sun where the matter is, the V disappears, but it's still traveling upwards. So the center of the V comes out of the center of the X-flare, and as it's traveling upwards, the arm energy, as it's going upwards, transfers itself from the middle to the sides, and that is why it flares from the middle outwards, and then it swings around with 2 arms, just like the Mars scar as it exits. So the next picture that you can see on the screen gives you a better example of it. So there you go. You've got 3 pictures of the sun and what is happening. Now I've got depths there. I'm not too sure even what I mean by that, but basically the pictures are explaining themselves. Now in smoke at the top left, you can see how when laid down, energy rolls and interlinks itself with opposing waves due to 2 opposite spins and rotations, and then flying V's go straight through them because it accelerates the energy, because it's a bunched up wave. That's just what it does. So going from left to right, we have a filament. This has not enough energy to turn into a halo, and so it just sits on the surface of the sun. In the center picture, you have the halo. This is where the depth obviously has to be lower, or, more energy is being released by the sun, so that as it travels to the outer edges of the sun, filaments roll over, and then they roll into a circle, and it is ejected as a halo. And in the final picture, this is where halos are produced deeper in the sun, and as they come to the surface, they bunch up behind each other. And as soon as you get 5 or 6 waves in a smoke halo configuration, where the circles meet, flying inverted V's zip to the surface, and as you can see the 2 arrows going left and right there, that is where the arrow bursts through, but it's as wide as the X-flare size, and so the arms of it peel across as electrical energy and light. So that is how flares work on the sun. And so that's how flares are made on the sun. And all this is based on Habakkuk 3:4, where 2 horns, 2 spirals, 2 prongs, 2 lightning bolts are coming from God's hand, and that is where the hiding of his power is. My name is Lee, and I'm a Christian.